The blackness of space stretched forever, but in one corner of the galaxy, there was a place no one entered. Maps marked it in red, and alien traders spoke of it with whispers. They called it human space, a forbidden zone, a dead zone, a place where ships entered but never came back. Every captain in the galaxy knew the warnings. Ancient beacons left floating at the borders flashed in countless languages. Do not enter. Pirates avoided it, smugglers steered clear, and even the Ya. Great armadas of empires refused to cross that line. Yet one ship drifted closer, its hull scarred, its crew silent. The alien captain, a reptilian with silver scales, stared at the edge of human space, his eyes filled with greed. He had heard the stories of riches hidden inside, derelict stations filled with forgotten technology, planets rich in metals, treasures left behind by a species too savage to survive. Or so he believed, Captain, one of his crew muttered, a small insectoid trembling near the controls. We should turn back. No one returns from there. The captain grinned, showing rows of sharp teeth. Stories to scare children, he hissed. If no one returns, it means the riches are still there, waiting for us. He raised a claw and pointed forward. Take us in. The ship crossed. The invisible border, alarms flickered on their consoles, not warnings from inside their ship, but signals from outside. Old satellites locked onto them, systems whirring to life, things that had been sleeping for centuries suddenly awake. The crew grew nervous, the insectoid shivered, the furred engineer growled softly, the pilot's hands shook, but none dared disobey. The black line was crossed, and human space swallowed them whole. Inside, the stars seemed colder, emptier, the radio filled with static, but behind the static were whispers, voices, old and broken, human voices, laughing, crying, whispering words the aliens could not understand. The reptilian captain forced his courage. Ignore it. Search for signals. Find me something valuable. His claws clicked on the console, his greed burning stronger than fear. For hours they drifted deeper. Sensors picked up strange debris, broken ships, alien ships, twisted metal spinning forever in silence. The crew stared at them with horror. Ships from dozens of species, some thousands of years old, all silent, all destroyed. Where? Are the human ships? The pilot whispered, his fur bristling. The captain narrowed his eyes. Hidden, scavenged, gone, it doesn't matter. Find me something intact. Then the alarm screamed. Something massive appeared on their sensors. No warp signature, no light bending. It was simply there, as if it had always been there. Their eyes widened as the shadow grew larger on their screens. A black ship, angular, silent, bristling with weapons. The crew froze. The insectoid trembled so hard his wings rattled. The furred engineer whispered, "That's no derelict." The human ship drifted closer, silent. Its hull black as night, but etched with symbols of Earth, symbols the aliens had only seen in museums. A single word painted across its side. Eras. The reptilian captain felt his throat dry. Legends said the humans built warships so powerful they could wipe out fleets. Warships that were never meant for defense, but for revenge. Then a voice crackled through the static, clear and sharp, a human voice. You have trespassed into human space. The alien crew froze. The insectoid dropped to the floor, shaking. The pilot whispered prayers. The voice continued, calm but heavy. All who enter here are given one choice, turn back or be destroyed. The captain's greed fought his fear. His claws clicked nervously. We mean no harm. We only seek trade, he lied. His tongue flicking nervously. The voice was silent for a long moment. The crew held their breath. The silence was worse than the threat. Then it came again, harder this time. There is no trade. Here there is no mercy here. Human space is closed. The reptilian captain snarled, pride and fear twisting his face. Fire weapons, show them we are not weak. The crew hesitated, but the captain roared. They obeyed. Plasma cannons lit up the void. Bolts of green energy slammed into the black ship. But when the light faded, the Ares remained untouched, its black armor shining, not a scratch. Then, it moved. One shot. A single beam of red light cut through the alien ship's shields, slicing the hull open like paper. Alarms screamed. Fire burst from the walls. The crew cried out in terror. "Stop! Stop!" The captain screamed, but the voice returned, calm and merciless. "You were warned." The human ship fired again, but instead of finishing them, it disabled their engines, left them drifting, burning, helpless. The insectoid sobbed. "Why didn't they kill us?" the voice answered, as if hearing him. "So you can return. So you can carry the message. Human space is closed. No one returns. But you will, and you will tell them what you saw." The alien captain's pride shattered. His claws trembled, his greed gone, replaced with terror. He realized now why no one dared enter human space. The humans were not gone. They were watching, waiting, guarding their space with silent monsters of war. The black ship turned, fading back into the void, disappearing as suddenly as it had appeared. The crew sat in silence, their ship crippled, but alive. The reptilian captain fell to his knees, his eyes wide with horror. "We should never have come," he whispered. "No one should ever come." As rescue beacons pulsed weakly from their broken hull, the alien crew knew the truth. They would survive. They would be allowed to crawl back to the galaxy, but they would never forget. And no one would ever believe the full horror until another greedy fool dared to cross the line. And then they, too, would learn no one enters human space, not unless they are ready to never return. The galaxy trembled when word spread. Another ship had entered human space, and this time one came back, crippled and broken, but alive. The reptilian captain's vessel limped through the void, its hull torn, its engines sparking, its crew half dead. The only reason they survived was because the humans allowed it. The whispers returned to the alien trade stations. The Forbidden Zone was no myth. It was real. Crowds gathered at the docking bay when the ship finally returned. Voices rose in fear and curiosity. The captain stumbled out, his silver scales dimmed with burns, his claws shaking. He fell to his knees on the station floor, his voice weak. "They are not gone. The humans are not gone." The insectoid crew member clung to a corner, trembling, whispering the same words again and again. Eyes in the dark, fire in the void. They see everything. They let us live. They let us live. The story spread faster than light. Merchants carried it, smugglers twisted it, politicians buried it. But no matter what was said, one truth remained. No one dared to cross human space, but not everyone was afraid. Far across the galaxy, in the core of a great empire, sat Admiral Zyrath, a warlord of the Zorak Dominion, his skin plated like armor, his eyes burning with hunger for conquest. He listened to the reports with a sneer. "So the humans toy with weak scavengers," he growled, his claws gripping the armrest of his throne-like chair. "They disable, they frighten, they send them crawling home. Impressive to cow traders, but not to me." One of his officers hesitated. "Admiral, their weapons destroyed fleets in the old wars. Their tactics are—" "Silence," Zyrath snapped, his voice booming. "Those wars are myths, old tales twisted to glorify a dead species. Humans are shadows clinging to broken machines. I will prove it." The council chamber fell silent. The officers shifted nervously. No one dared oppose him, but many thought him a fool. Still, his reputation was iron. His fleets were vast, and he had never lost. Zyrath rose, his armored body towering over them. "I will enter human space. I will return not crippled but victorious, and I will drag a human corpse before this council to show the galaxy their fear is misplaced." The chamber echoed with uneasy applause, but deep down, many officers felt dread. Within weeks, Xyrath's fleet assembled. 100 ships, warships larger and stronger than the Scavenger's single vessel, cruisers bristling with weapons, carriers filled with fighters, dreadnoughts heavy as moons, an unstoppable force by any galactic measure. They gathered at the border, the line that no one crossed. The void shimmered with the presence of so many ships. Traders fled, smugglers vanished. The galaxy held its breath. On the lead bridge, Xyrath stood tall, his armored body gleaming, his voice a roar. Forward into human space, we will crush their ghost ships, we will take their worlds, and when we return, the name of the Zorak Dominion will erase the name of Earth. The fleet surged forward, engines burning bright, war drums echoed across comms. Thousands of alien soldiers shouted in unison, their confidence swelling. For the first few hours, nothing happened. The stars shone quietly. Planets drifted in silence. It felt almost peaceful. Officers laughed, mocking the stories. "Look, it is empty. The humans are myths," they said. "Nothing here but cold rocks." But the veterans among them, those who had fought on forgotten front lines, stayed silent, their eyes on the shadows between stars. Then the first signal came. A distress beacon drifted across their path. An old ship, broken alien design unrecognizable. It carried a warning carved into its hull, the words ancient but clear, "Turn back." The junior officers laughed again. A scare tactic? A trick? But others shifted uneasily, remembering the stories. Xyrath ignored it. "Continue," he ordered, his eyes burning with pride. Then came the wreckage, shattered fleets floating. Ships melted and torn apart, some thousands of years old, all bearing scars of weapons never seen outside human space. The fleet slowed, whispers spread, unease crawled through the crews, but Xyrath roared, "Relics of cowards, move forward!" That was when the sensors screamed. Something vast moved in the dark, shadows bigger than asteroids, faster than fighters. Ships appeared where there had been nothing. Human ships, black and silent, no lights, no signals, no sound. They surrounded the Zorak fleet like hunters around prey. The bridge crew froze, their eyes wide. One officer whispered, "How many are there?" But the scanners could not count. Every time they locked on, more appeared, as if the darkness itself was their ally. Then a voice filled the comms, not loud, not shouting, just calm, clear, and deadly. "You have trespassed into human space." The same words, the same tone, the same judgment. Xyrath sneered, "Show yourself, coward! You hide in shadows." The voice replied, calm as stone, "You were warned. Leave now, or none of you will leave again." Xyrath slammed a claw against the console. "Fire everything!" The Zorak fleet unleashed hell. Plasma cannons, torpedoes, beam weapons. The void lit up with destruction. Energy storms brighter than stars. The kind of firepower that could shatter moons. But when the light cleared, the human ships still stood, untouched, their black hulls gleaming, their silence unbroken. Then the humans fired. Rail cannons cut through dreadnought armor. Particle lances sliced cruisers in half. Fighters vanished in bursts of light before they could even maneuver. It was not a battle. It was an execution. On the bridge, officers screamed, comms filled with cries. "We're breaking! Shields collapsing! Engines failing!" Xyrath roared. "Hold formation!" But his voice could not hide the fear in his eyes. The human ships moved with terrifying precision. They struck weak points, crippled engines, disabled shields, every move perfect, as if they knew the Zorak fleet's designs better than the Zorak themselves. Within minutes, half the fleet was gone. The rest scattered. But no escape route remained. Humans blocked every path, silent, merciless. And then, just as in the stories, they stopped. The firing ceased. Silence returned. The surviving Zorak ships floated, burning, broken. The voice came again, calm and merciless. One ship will return, the rest will not. Xyrath trembled with rage. I will not be your messenger. I am Admiral Xyrath, conqueror of 12 worlds. I will not bow, the voice answered, colder than ever. Then your empire will never hear of you again. The human ships turned their guns on his flagship. The bridge shook with the impact. Fire burst across consoles. Crew screamed. Xyrath fell to his knees as the hull cracked. In his last moments, he realized the truth. Humans did not spare out of mercy. They spared out of calculation. Every survivor carried their legend further. Every returned ship fueled the fear. It was not just war. It was psychological dominance. The humans didn't need to conquer the galaxy. The galaxy conquered itself with fear of them. Xyrath's ship burned, his screams lost in the void. Far away, one smaller vessel was disabled but left intact, its engines repaired remotely by unknown hands. Its crew terrified but alive, they were guided to the edge of human space, then released, drifting back into the galaxy. When they returned, the survivors' testimony spread. 1,000 systems listened in silence as the broken crew spoke. They let us live so we could speak. They destroyed everything else. Their ships cannot be touched. Their weapons cannot be matched. No one returns from human space unless they allow it. The galaxy trembled again, more than before. The fear was now absolute. And deep in human space, unseen, unheard, the black ships drifted in silence, their eyes always watching, waiting. The galaxy was shaken, empires whispered, and traders carried fear from system to system. The Zorak Dominion had sent 100 ships into human space, and only one returned. The survivors' words spread like wildfire. They let us live. They destroyed everything else. Their ships cannot be touched. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council met in emergency session, their chambers stretched wide, filled with representatives of dozens of species, towering insectoids, feathered avians, scaled lizards, glowing aquatic beings in tanks, all gathered, but every voice was hushed. At the center, the High Speaker raised his arms, his voice echoing. Through the chamber, the question before us is clear. What must be done about the humans? The chamber erupted. Some shouted for peace, others for war. Voices clashed in every language. They are ghosts, cried one avian with sharp feathers. Ancient remnants clinging to machines. Leave them to rot in their shadows. They are predators, hissed a reptilian envoy. If they can destroy a fleet of 100 ships, they are not to be ignored. They must be contained. They must be studied, gurgled an aquatic representative. Their weapons, their tactics, we must learn what they know. The debate roared on, but beneath it all was fear, a fear that no empire wanted to admit. At last a voice rose from the shadows, calm and slow. Ambassador Vera, a tall figure robed in black, her species known for wisdom and cunning. You all argue like frightened hatchlings, she said. The humans are not ghosts. Not predators, not mysteries. They are planners. They are patient, and they are watching us even now. The chamber fell silent, all eyes on her. They let survivors return, Vera continued, her eyes sharp. Do you not see? This is not mercy, it is design. They want us afraid, they want us divided, they do not need to conquer the galaxy, they make us conquer ourselves. Her words cut deep. Many shifted uncomfortably. They knew. She was right. The High Speaker lowered his head. Then what do you propose? Vera smiled thinly. We must send envoys, not fleets. We must show them we are not enemies, or one day, when they decide to step out of the shadows, there will be no one left to resist. The chamber split again. Some cheered the idea, others cried betrayal. Bend knee to humans, one reptilian shouted. Never! But while politicians argued, the common people of the galaxy told stories, taverns echoed with whispers. Smugglers swore they saw human ships watching them. Traders refused routes that passed too near human borders, and whole colonies shifted trade away from those cursed sectors. Meanwhile, inside human space, silence reigned, far from alien eyes. Deep within the Terran core, humanity lived, not scattered, not primitive, but united, their cities lit with energy, their fleets hidden in black space, their armies trained in silence. For centuries they had been quiet, but never weak. In a hidden fortress on the surface of Mars, Admiral Helena Cross stood before a war map, her uniform dark, her eyes sharp, her voice steady. The Zorak fleet is destroyed, but the galaxy is watching. They will not stop. More will come. Spies, envoys, fleets. Around her, commanders nodded, hardened veterans who had lived their lives in the shadow of silence. One general spoke. "They think we are monsters. Perhaps it is better to let them believe it." Helena shook her head. "Fear is useful, but fear alone is fragile. One day someone will call the bluff, and when that day comes, we must remind them we are not shadows. We are humanity." Her words echoed with steel. The commanders nodded. Across the stars, alien spies tried to peer into human space. Cloaked probes slipped across the border, but one by one they vanished. Some burned by railgun fire, some swallowed by jamming fields, others simply disappeared, leaving behind only static. The mystery deepened. Some said humans had weapons that erased matter. Others swore they commanded creatures from black holes. The myths grew. In the Zorak Dominion, chaos erupted. Admiral Zerath's death left a power. Vacuum, rival warlords fought for control, while their people whispered of human vengeance. The empire that had once terrorized the galaxy now trembled like prey. But not everyone was afraid. In the shadow of the Galactic Council, a secret cabal formed. Merchants, scientists, and warlords whispered together, "If humans hold such weapons, we must have them too." They called themselves the Consortium, and their plan was bold. They would steal human technology, capture a human ship if possible, dissect it, and turn the power of Earth against Earth. Itself, a single question remained. Who would dare cross the border? The answer came from an unexpected place. Not a warlord, not a general, but a smuggler, Captain Jarn, a sly, thin alien with more cunning than courage. He listened to the Consortium's offer and smiled. "You want someone to slip past human eyes, steal from the monsters, and return alive," he laughed. "That will cost you." The Consortium paid him in gold, weapons, and promises. Yarn assembled a small crew, desperate fools who wanted riches more than life. Their ship was small, fast, fitted with stealth drives and stolen cloaking fields, and so, in the shadow of silence, while fleets trembled and empires argued, Yarn's ship slipped across the border. Inside human space, the void was darker than he imagined. Stars dim, shadows. Heavy, the radio filled with static, whispers brushed against his ears. His crew trembled, but Jarn grinned. Stories. Nothing more. They flew deeper, scanning, searching. At last they found something, a derelict, floating silent, its hull blackened, a human design. Excitement filled the crew. "We've done it. A human warship," one whispered. "Think of the fortune." They latched onto the wreck, cutting into its hull. The corridors inside were cold, silent, filled with dust, but the walls hummed with a strange power, machines unlike anything. They had seen. Jarn's eyes gleamed. "Take what you can." They carried crates of human tech back to their ship. Circuits, weapons, databanks, every piece a treasure worth empires. But as they returned for more, a sound filled the corridors. Footsteps. The crew froze. Their blood turned to ice. The ship was not empty. A figure stepped from the shadows, armored human, eyes glowing behind the helmet. "You should not be here," the human's voice echoed, calm, merciless. The smugglers panicked, dropping their crates. Some ran, others raised weapons, firing wildly. But the bullets vanished against the human's armor. One by one they fell. Broken, The corridors filled with screams. Jarn ran, clutching a single crate, his heart racing. He fled back to his ship, slamming the hatch shut. His pilot screamed, "What did you bring on board?" Jarn's eyes widened behind him. In the shadows of the cargo hold, a shape moved, tall, armored, human. The ship shook. Alarms screamed. Systems went dark. The crew cried out. Then silence. Hours later, at the border of human space, a small vessel drifted, empty, its cargo gone, its crew vanished. Only one message pulsed from its systems, a warning in every galactic tongue. No one enters human space unless they are ready to never return. The consortium was in ruins, their smugglers lost, their agents silent, their stolen cargo vanished into shadows. Yet still, whispers grew louder. Someone had tried to steal from the humans and vanished. Their ship found drifting empty at the edge of human space, its systems pulsing only one warning. No one enters human space unless they are ready to never return. The galaxy shook again, and fear spread deeper than ever. Merchants refused to travel near the forbidden border. Empires whispered of curses. Ordinary citizens refused even to speak the word human aloud. But the consortium did not die. Greed never truly dies, in secret chambers hidden beneath city spires. And asteroid vaults the survivors met. Shadows cloaked their faces, voices heavy with ambition. "They mock us," one voice hissed. "They strike fleets, they kill spies, and they send messages like gods." "They humiliate us," another voice growled. "The Zorak Dominion has collapsed into civil war. The great empires tremble, and yet these humans do not leave their cursed borders. They sit in silence, waiting, laughing." The leader of the consortium, a tall figure with silver skin and golden eyes, leaned forward. "Then we will strike harder, not with smugglers, not with scavengers, but with science." The room fell silent. The leader's voice sharpened. "If the humans guard their borders, then we will not cross them. Instead, we will build what they have. We will match their weapons, their shields, their ships. And when the galaxy sees we are not afraid, humanity's shadow will fade." The plan began. Secret labs hidden in gas. Giants, scientists kidnapped or bought. Warlords lending ships for testing. Slowly they built weapons designed to mimic the terrifying human arsenal. But even as they worked, strange things began to happen. A freighter carrying stolen human fragments exploded in the void. No sign of attackers, no survivors. A research lab went dark overnight. Its entire staff vanished, found later drifting. In escape pods with memories erased and whispered words carved into their hulls. You were warned. The consortium grew desperate, pushing their scientists harder, testing faster. But the more they built, the more they lost. It was as if the humans knew every secret plan before it began. Meanwhile, in the heart of the Terran core, the human leaders met again. Admiral Helena Cross stood before the Council of Earth, her voice steady. "The aliens are not fools. They will try again. But they do not understand. It is not our weapons that protect us. It is our will." A general leaned forward. "Should we reveal ourselves, strike openly, end their questions, once and for all?" Helena shook her head, her eyes cold. "Not yet. They still fear us. They still fight themselves more than us. Let them drown in their own divisions. And when they unite, then we remind them who we are." The council nodded, silence heavy. For centuries humanity had waited, patient as stone, building in the dark, teaching the galaxy a lesson without ever leaving their borders. But cracks began to spread. In the Galactic Council chambers, pressure built. One faction demanded peace. "We cannot live in fear forever. We must talk to the humans." Another faction demanded war. "If we unite, we can crush them." And another demanded silence. "Let them rot in their cursed stars." The debates grew heated, But something worse began to rise. Across alien worlds, ordinary people started to worship the humans in dark temples carved into asteroid rock. Priests whispered prayers to the unseen guardians. They strike the proud, they humble the arrogant, they protect their own with fire. Statues were carved, hymns sung. In some places the word human was no longer feared, but revered. This frightened the council even more than the weapons. "They are becoming gods," an avian delegate shouted. "Even if we destroy them, their legend will live." Back in human space, the black fleets drifted silently, but now they stirred. On the border world of Vega Prime, an alien probe entered the system, scanning for signals. It found not silence, but a voice. "We see you," the voice said, calm, steady, not a threat, not a warning, but a promise. The probe transmitted back to its masters, spreading fear across. The stars, the humans were not just defending. They were speaking. They were reaching out. Rumors spread of human ships appearing not only at the borders, but deep inside alien territories, seen for seconds before vanishing, watching, always watching in. A mining colony far from human space, a worker claimed a black ship appeared above the moon, scanned the colony, then disappeared without a word. His story was mocked, until days later the colony received a crate of supplies, food, medicine, sealed with symbols no one recognized but whispered to be human. Were they watching, or helping, or warning? No one knew. And that uncertainty drove the galaxy mad. The consortium, furious and desperate, decided to gamble everything. They built one ship, a warship unlike any other, forged from stolen designs, fitted with human-inspired weapons. They called it the Defiance, and with it they planned to break into human space and return victorious. The launch was grand. Banners waved, warlords cheered. Spies carried word across the galaxy. At last, someone would challenge the humans. At last, the fear would end. The Defiance crossed the border, its crew filled with courage, its systems humming with stolen power. For hours, nothing happened. And hope grew. "See," the captain roared. "They are nothing, only myths. We are stronger now." Then the stars darkened. The human ships appeared, silent, countless, surrounding the Defiance, their black hulls gleaming. The alien captain smiled. "Fire!" The ship unleashed its stolen weapons. Rail cannons, energy beams, torpedoes, light blazed across the void. But when it cleared, the humans were untouched, their silence heavier than ever. The alien crew panicked. "Why are the weapons not working?" A human voice filled their comms. Calm. Cruel. "You use what is ours, but you do not understand it. You play with fire you cannot hold." The human ships moved, precise, deadly, and in minutes the Defiance was crippled, engines shattered, shields gone, its weapons silenced. But instead of destruction, the humans did something new. They boarded, armored figures stepped onto the alien decks, tall, silent, faceless behind helmets. They moved with machine precision. The alien soldiers fired, but their bullets vanished, their energy bolts reflected. One by one they fell, captured. The alien captain trembled, his pride shattered. What will you do with us?" he whispered. The human leader raised a hand, calm, merciless. "You will return. You will tell them. You will carry our warning, as all before you have." The captain collapsed, realizing the truth. Humanity's greatest weapon was not destruction, but fear. Fear that spread faster than any fire, fear that reached deeper than any wound. When the Defiance limped back across the border, broken, humiliated, its crew whispering of shadows and gods, the galaxy finally understood. Humanity was not just guarding their borders, they were shaping the galaxy itself, not with conquest, not with war, but with fear, with whispers, with silence. And in the dark, humanity waited. The galaxy could no longer deny it. Fleets had burned, smugglers had vanished, the mighty Defiance had limped home broken and shamed. Every attempt to challenge the humans ended the same, silence followed by terror. Yet something new began to stir. The humans were no longer content to sit quietly behind their borders. For the first time in centuries, they chose to speak. It began with a signal. It was not a distress call, not a warning, but a message, transmitted in every language. Carried on every channel, 3 simple words that shook the galaxy. "We are watching," the words repeated endlessly. From mining colonies to great capitals, from smugglers' dens to council chambers, no one escaped it. Even systems light years away from human space heard the message echo through their comms. First panic spread. Stations locked their doors. Empires shut down their networks. Some even tried to jam the transmission. But it was useless. The message always returned, calm, patient, inescapable. On the streets of alien cities, people gathered to listen, fear mixing with awe. Children whispered the words as lullabies. Priests shouted them as prophecy. Merchants carved them above their doors. In the Galactic Council, chaos reigned. Representatives screamed over one another. "They threaten us openly now," cried one reptilian lord, his scales rattling with fear. "This is not defense, this is domination," shouted a feathered avian, slamming her wings against the table. Ambassador Vera rose, her voice cutting through the noise. "Do you not see? This is not an invasion, not a war. It is a reminder they have always been watching, and now they want us to know it." The chamber fell silent. Her words chilled them more than any weapon. But fear was not the only reaction. In the shadows, the consortium saw opportunity. "They reveal themselves," one leader hissed. "They want us to tremble. But we will use this moment, their arrogance. We'll expose them." The consortium launched a bold plan. Not fleets, not weapons, but lies. They spread rumors across the stars. Stories that humans were not gods, but parasites, feeding on fear, manipulating signals, tricking the galaxy with illusions. "Do not believe their words," their agents shouted in crowded markets. "The humans are weak. Shadows hiding behind old machines." The lies spread quickly, but just as quickly they were crushed. On a mining moon, a consortium agent declared the humans were frauds. Hours later, a black ship appeared in orbit. No attack, no sound. It simply drifted there, watching when the agent saw it. He screamed and fled. The colony never doubted the humans again. On a distant trade hub, a warlord declared himself the slayer of Earth, boasting he would march into human space. That night, his palace walls were painted with a single phrase in human script: "We are watching." None saw who wrote it. None heard a sound. But the warlord never spoke of humans again. Fear grew heavier than armies, heavier than fleets. The galaxy trembled under silence. Inside human space, Admiral Helena Cross stood with her commanders, their war table glowing with reports of chaos beyond their borders. "They are breaking themselves without us firing a shot," one general said, his voice almost amused. But Helena's eyes were sharp, her tone cold. "Fear is powerful, but fear can also breed desperation. When the galaxy has nothing left, they will do anything, even unite against us," the council agreed. And so humanity prepared something new, a message not of silence, but of power. From the heart of Earth, a single transmission was sent, not to one empire, not to one council, but to all. The message began with an image, a simple one: Earth itself, blue oceans, green lands, a fragile world. Then the camera pulled back, showing fleets orbiting, black ships countless as stars, weapons glowing, soldiers lined in endless ranks. And then a voice spoke, calm, steady, undeniable. "We are humanity. We do not seek conquest. We do not seek slaves. We do not seek tribute. We seek only one thing: our space, our home, our silence. Those who enter without permission never return. Those who respect the line never fear us. The message ended, and the stars grew quiet. The galaxy froze. The display of power burned. Into every mind, it was not a boast, not a challenge, it was truth. Humans could destroy, but they chose not to, and that choice frightened everyone more than war. In taverns, whispers grew louder. They could conquer us if they wished, but they do not. Why? Priests declared the humans were divine guardians, protecting their own with holy fire. But waiting for the day of judgment, warlords raged, demanding fleets, but their soldiers refused to march. In the consortium, fury burned. They control the galaxy with words, one leader spat. We must strike before the legend becomes unbreakable. They plotted to assassinate a human, capture one alive, prove to the galaxy they were mortal. They sent their best assassins, shadows trained to kill without trace. They crossed into human space cloaked, silent, armed with weapons forged in secret labs, but none returned. Instead, a new message appeared across consortium-controlled systems, their own comm networks hijacked, their own screens filled with human. Words, "We are watching you." The humiliation was complete. The consortium fractured, their members turning on each other in paranoia, convinced humanity had spies in every chamber. Meanwhile, in the Zorak Dominion, broken by defeat, new leaders rose, softer voices, desperate for survival. They declared a new law. No ship of the Dominion would ever cross into human space again. The avian empires followed, then the insectoid hives, one by one. The galaxy's great powers signed silent pacts, never formal, never written, but clear. Human space was untouchable, yet even as fear bound them, curiosity lingered. Questions spread in whispers. Why do they remain silent? Why do they not expand? What do they wait for? And deep inside human space, the answer was clear. In a hidden vault beneath the mountains of Earth, machines hummed, weapons gleamed, soldiers trained. Admiral Helena Cross watched it all with quiet pride. "We wait," she whispered. "We wait until the galaxy forgets its fear, and then we remind them again." Her second-in-command asked softly, "And if one day they unite, all of them against us?" Helena's eyes hardened. "Then they will learn. The galaxy has never truly faced humanity unleashed." The stars outside glittered cold, countless eyes watching, countless hearts trembling. And in every corner of the galaxy, the same phrase echoed, whispered by merchants, priests, soldiers, and children alike. No one enters human space unless they are ready to never return. The galaxy had lived in fear for centuries. Whispers of human space passed from traitor to soldier, from priest to child, and though no empire dared to cross the border again, silence was not enough to ease their terror. Fear alone cannot last. Forever, when fear grows too heavy, it breeds something else: desperation. And so, across the stars, a secret movement began. Empires that once warred against each other sent hidden envoys. Old enemies sat at the same tables. Proud species swallowed. Their pride, for all their differences, they agreed on one thing: if humanity was not destroyed now, they would never be destroyed. The Galactic Council chamber filled with more delegates than ever before. Wings rustled, claws clicked, voices hissed. The High Speaker raised his trembling arms. "The humans have made the galaxy bend, not with conquest, not with fleets, but with silence. And now you sit here united, something no war has ever done." Murmurs filled the chamber, some in shame, some in anger. "We have only two choices," the High Speaker continued. "Submit forever, or strike together." The word strike echoed, burning like fire in every ear. The great empires pledged fleets. The insectoid hives sent swarms. The avian flocks filled carriers with bombers. The reptilian warlords forged dreadnoughts larger than moons. Even the weakened Zorak Dominion, scarred by its last defeat, offered what remained of its armadas. It was the largest gathering of force in galactic history. A storm of steel and fire, enough to erase entire civilizations. The plan was simple. Overwhelming force. They would enter human space not with one fleet, not with 100, but with thousands. Every empire united, every weapon blazing, and deep within human space, the humans watched. Admiral Helena Cross stood in the command hall of the fortress on Mars, her eyes calm as the reports flooded in. "They are uniting," her aide whispered. "The galaxy has never stood as one before. Not until now." Helena's voice was steady. "Then we will remind them why fear united them in the first place." Across Earth and her colonies, fleets stirred, black warships rising from hidden docks, dreadnoughts sliding from shadowed shipyards, soldiers boarding with silent precision. But humanity did not march forward. They waited, always patient, always still. The day came. The Galactic Armada assembled at the border, thousands of ships stretching from star to star, so vast their shadows darkened whole systems. On the flagship of the United Fleet, Supreme Commander Dravik, a massive reptilian with scales like iron, stood before his officers. "For centuries we have cowered, for centuries we have whispered, but today we end the human myth. Today we show the galaxy they are nothing but flesh and bone." The fleets roared, drums thundered across comms, and the Armada surged forward, crossing into human space. At first, nothing. The same silence that had always haunted the border. Empty stars, dead planets, quiet space. The officers laughed nervously. "See, nothing. Their shadows are tricks." But then the stars went dark. The human ships appeared, not dozens, not hundreds, but countless, black hulls filling every shadow, more than anyone had ever imagined. The galaxy's fleets fired first, weapons blazing brighter than suns, torpedoes, beams, railguns, missiles. The void burned, but when the light faded, the humans still stood, untouched. Then the humans answered. The first wave of fire tore through, dreadnoughts like paper. Rail slugs the size of houses smashed through shields. Particle lances melted carriers. Fighters vanished in flashes of light. The galaxy's greatest fleet began to die. On the alien flagship, chaos reigned. Shields collapsing. Engines failing. "We are surrounded!" voices screamed. Dravik roared, "Hold the line!" But fear had already broken them. The humans moved with perfect precision, striking weak points, crippling engines, disabling weapons. They didn't just destroy, they dismantled. Every move a lesson, every kill a message. Within hours, thousands of ships were gone, the rest scattered, fleeing in panic. But the humans did not chase. They allowed some to live. Crippled vessels drifting, burning, their crews broken. On one such ship, an avian officer lay on the floor, feathers soaked in blood. She stared at the silent black ships surrounding them. Her voice cracked. "Why don't they finish us?" A voice answered over the comms, calm and cold. "Because you must return. You must tell them. You must carry our words." "What words?" the officer whispered, her beak trembling. The voice was quiet, steady, undeniable. "This is Mercy's last time. The surviving ships were guided to the border, allowed to crawl back to their empires, but the message followed them, carried in their broken hulls, their shattered minds. In the Galactic Council, silence fell. The survivors' testimony was heard in tears and screams. We were thousands, they were endless. Their weapons cannot be matched, their ships cannot be counted. They let us live. But they told us, this is Mercy's last time. The words struck harder than any weapon. For centuries, the humans had allowed survivors, had let the legend spread. But now they had spoken something new, a promise. Next time there would be no survivors. Panic consumed the galaxy. Empires collapsed into riots. Soldiers deserted. Priests cried prophecies of doom. Merchants abandoned whole trade routes. And yet, amidst the chaos, there were whispers of something else. Admiration, awe, respect. Some said the humans were not monsters. but guardians, protecting their own, punishing only the arrogant. In the shadows of alien cities, murals appeared. Black ships painted as shields of the stars, humans worshipped as judges of balance. But in the halls of power, rulers trembled, for they knew the truth. Humanity had not even unleashed everything. What they had shown was only a glimpse. On Mars, Admiral Helena Cross watched reports of the broken armada, her face calm, her words measured. They will not come again. Not soon. Not together. We have bought silence for another century, her aide asked. And if they do return, Helena's eyes were cold as iron. Then the galaxy will finally learn what it means when humanity stops holding back. The stars outside glittered, silent witnesses to the truth. No one dared speak of invasion again. No one dared speak of conquest. Instead, in every corner of the galaxy, the same phrase echoed louder than ever before. No one enters human space unless they are ready to never return. The galaxy had never been so silent. After the failed armada, after the humans' final warning, no empire dared send fleets, no smugglers crossed the border, no probes ventured near. Human space became a wall of shadow that no one touched, but silence is never forever. Silence breeds questions, and questions grow into fears. In the great chambers of the Galactic Council, the High Speaker stood trembling. They said this is Mercy's last time. What does it mean? What if they are preparing to leave their space? What if they are preparing to march on all of us? The delegates argued, voices sharp and desperate. They will destroy us if they come, cried one avian with golden wings. We must prepare defenses. We cannot build what they build, hissed a reptilian envoy, his scales rattling. Our fleets crumble like dust before them. Then we must beg for peace, gurgled an aquatic delegate, floating in her tank. If they do not wish to rule, then perhaps they will accept friendship. The chamber divided, some trembling in fear, others daring to hope. But deep inside, human space, the truth was very different. On Earth, in the fortress of Geneva Prime, the leaders of humanity gathered. Admirals, generals, scientists, presidents, all stood beneath the holographic map of the galaxy. Admiral Helena Cross presided, her voice steady. They united against us, she said, and we broke them. Now they will not try again for a century, perhaps more. But we cannot live forever in shadows. Her words stirred the room. Humanity had hidden for centuries, letting fear and silence shield them. But now the galaxy's eyes were open. Now they waited for the next move. A scientist rose, his hair white with age, his voice calm. We have always waited, we have always watched, but the galaxy does not know why. Perhaps it is time to tell them, at least part of the truth. The council fell into silence. Humanity's secret had never been spoken aloud to outsiders, not in centuries, but perhaps the time had come. Helena nodded. We will not reveal everything, but we will remind them why Earth stands apart and why no one who enters returns. Across human space, black ships stirred, but not for war. This time they carried something else. Messages. The first transmission came not as a warning, but as an invitation. One ship from each empire may enter, unarmed with envoys, to speak with humanity, to hear our truth. The galaxy gasped. Disbelief and fear spread like wildfire. Was it a trap, a trick, or something else? The Galactic Council debated for weeks, but curiosity burned stronger than fear. At last they agreed. A great delegation was formed, one envoy from each empire, one ship from each world. They crossed the border together, trembling but unwilling. To show weakness, for the first time in living memory, alien eyes saw the heart of human space. The journey was silent. Black ships escorted them through dead systems, past ruined fleets left as warnings, past worlds marked with scars of ancient wars, until at last they saw it. Earth, blue and green shining beneath the light of the sun. The envoys gasped. They had expected fortresses, weapons, endless fleets, but instead they saw cities, oceans, forests, a world alive, thriving, not a tomb, not a fortress, but a home. On the surface, they were brought to a great hall, stone walls lined with banners. Human soldiers stood silent, armored, faceless, their presence heavy but not hostile. At the center, Admiral Helena Cross waited, her uniform dark, her gaze sharp. She spoke with calm strength. "You have feared us. You have fought us. You have cursed our name, but you have never asked why we remain in silence." The envoys trembled, some too afraid to answer. At last, a small avian delegate whispered, "Why?" Helena's voice carried across the chamber. "Because once, long ago, humanity tried to join the galaxy, and the galaxy tried to break us." She raised her hand, a screen lit with images, ancient battles, fleets burning, Earth under siege, alien armies marching on human colonies. The envoys gasped, recognizing the banners of their own empires among the invaders. "You called us fragile. You called us weak, but we endured." Helena continued, "You tried to erase us, but we survived. And when you thought us broken, we built weapons to make sure it would never happen again." Her voice grew harder. "That is why no one returns. Not because we hunger for conquest, not because we wish to rule, but because our memory is long and our patience is endless. Those who cross our border do not return because we cannot risk history repeating itself." The envoys sat in silence, their faces pale, their hearts heavy. An insectoid envoy clicked his mandibles nervously. "Then why allow us here? Why now?" Helena's gaze pierced them. "Because we wanted you to see humanity does not seek your worlds, your people, your stars. We only seek our peace, but if peace is broken, if war comes again, then know this: fear is only a shadow of what we can truly unleash." The screen changed again, showing weapons the envoys had never dreamed of. Ships the size of moons, cannons that bent light, machines that tore gravity itself apart. The hall shook as the images filled their eyes. "This," Helena said, her voice cold as iron, "is what we have kept hidden. This is why we wait. We do not reveal it because we do not want to use it. But if we must, the galaxy will not survive." The envoys trembled, some in terror, some in awe. At last, the reptilian envoy bowed his head. We will not cross your border again." Helena nodded, her voice softer now. "See that you do not for your sake and for ours." The envoys were escorted back to their ships, carried across the border, released into the stars. And when they returned to their empires, they carried a story no one would forget. The galaxy trembled again, but this time it was not only fear, it was respect, even reverence. Humanity had shown restraint where others would have conquered, patience where others would have destroyed. In temples, priests declared humanity the eternal guardians of silence. In markets, merchants carved human symbols into their doors for protection. In palaces, rulers whispered promises never to test Earth again. And deep within human space, Admiral Helena Cross stood on the balcony of her command hall, the stars glittering before her, her voice quiet but certain. They will forget again. One day they always do. And when that day comes, we will remind them until the end of time. The stars burned on, silent witnesses, and in every corner of the galaxy, the same words lived forever. No one enters human space unless they are ready to never return.